All right. I believe we are all set up. So yeah, we are... Gotta get successfully through the selection menu. We are playing Rakdos, Midrange, and Explorer. Had a good time last time. Been playing it a bit off camera, and it has been reasonably successful. So let's keep that up. Alright, we found our first opponent for the day. And let's hope it's an interesting game. Alright, this hand is fine. I would love turn 1 discard, but turn 2 aggressive-ish creature into turn 3 card advantage engine with a Mutavault. 3 Unholy Annexes is probably like 1.5 too many. So we're probably going to discard at least one of them with the fear of missing out. So let's just do that now. Looking some sort of Planeswalker deck. Alright, they kill the FOMO. That's fine, we get our trigger. Alright, I don't know exactly what they are cooking, but I think we go Unholy NX this turn, Shieldred next turn, fire up the Mutavault later. Alright, we're getting Assassin Trophy. That's actually great for us. We do love the ramp. So they're definitely a control deck. Planeswalkers. Okay. What does this guy do? +1 draw a card, discard. +1 plot a cheap thing. -6 copy spells. Alright. Well, let's get Shieldred down. They probably won't like that. And then a Mutavault. So my opponent with a Jace on the board, probably not super excited about Shieldred. They might have more removal. They probably are looking for removal here. If they don't find it, they're in a lot of trouble. If they do find a removal spell for Shieldred, then I can fire up the Mutavault, attack the Jace, torch them, attack the Jace. Torch the Jace to keep it low, and then like be fine-ish. But they do find a Bitter Triumph. Alright, so I think we play the Unholy Annex, fire up the Mutavault, smack the Jace a little bit. Just keep him away from ultimating. Obviously play a land on red since we have Urborg giving us black. So Mutavault plus Torch can kill the Jace next turn. And we can also play some creatures out to pressure them, although they probably have sweepers. Ah, that's what they're up to. Sabsunin, huh? Well, that certainly makes things a little more awkward. So I guess I'm just gonna deploy some threats, fire up the Mutavault, and pass. Now we're on chip them for the last 6 damage with Unholy NX. Maybe we can get some... Maybe we can push some attacks through these blockers. Like, this is odd right now. So this is odd right now, so it can't currently block. But they do have a way of changing that. But that is as a sorcery when it's plotted. So it's not going to be letting this block right now. Did I have the option of playing another Mutavault this turn? I think that might be necessary if they have a sweeper or something. Alright. Well, I'm going to float mana and use this blood token. Field of Ruin stopping my Mutavault would be more annoying if I didn't have a second Mutavault. Also get my last basic. Kiora the Crashing Wave. They gain 2 life and they can prevent all damage. This is loss of life.
But my friend's kind of a beast.
So they can stop the Blood Tithe Harvester.
Bet you can't.
Oh, I clicked through a phase. That's fine, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to toss the Sulphurous Springs. Alright. That's indestructible. Withering Torment, Fatal Push are both completely dead. Sokenzan. So, let's see. I activate Sokenzan, attack them for 4/6. It's not quite enough. What are these? So that's not doing anything exciting, but it is drawing cards. I think we channel Sokenzan. And that does not have an even number of counters on it. So I think we kill Kiora and chip in for 1.
Gonna go for a swim and cool off.
Then I can torch the Jace because I'm going to be discarding it anyway, so I may as well, to fear of missing out. And then I can duress them, and then I can finally use the treasure. Alright, take Deadly Cover Up. And finally use the treasure to fire up the Mutavault. Alright. So now this can attack or block, but I took their sweeper. That duress was enormously clutch. So they have... That doesn't save them, that doesn't save them. That could find them something that saves them, and that could be something that saves them. Oh, it's a good thing... If I hadn't torched the Jace, that would have proliferated him up to 6, and he could have ultimated, which maybe would have done something. So they can play another Kiora, but that just stops one thing. Which isn't a concern for me. Alright, so they're gaining their 2 life back.
Sun in the sky, brine on my skin. Great day to fight.
They're stopping the Blood Tithe Harvester.
Top of the food chain.
And see Experimental Augury. So this can block a fear of missing out. I hit for 4. Untap the Shaman hit for 6 total, and then Unholy Annex burns them out. So they do need something. This Experimental Augury needs to find them something like any removal spell would do. Ashiok gains them a bunch of life and makes a blocker. Or they should have made a blocker, right? Alright. Well, actually, I can Blade of the Oni and reconfigure onto a 1/1, I guess. And now we swing out. Untap that. And they're dead. Good old Blade of the Oni. You love to see it. Alright, so they are doing Planeswalker, Sabsunin. Anoint with Affliction is in, Extinction Event is in, Invoke Despair is in, because that kills Planeswalkers. They didn't seem to be doing graveyard stuff aside from like a couple things like Memory Deluge, so Unlicensed Her is probably no good. Fatal Push seems bad, although they can get like Ashiok tokens and stuff. I don't know. I don't really have a good grasp on how exactly they plan to win the game. Liliana is probably better against them than random removal spells. I think we will try this, and if they show us a lot of Planeswalkers that create tokens, we might bring Fatal Push back in for Game 3. Alright, we're not keeping a 6-lander. This hand is great. Bottom Torch the Tower. It is incredibly mid. We're just going to go with Thoughtseize, FOMO, Unholy Annex. I mean, that's a handful of Planeswalkers. How do you even know which one to take? I guess Narset, because I have a lot of like draw discard stuff that is very, very awful with a Narset in play. Maybe I should have looked. None of these like immediately create creatures. I don't know if discarding the Fear of Missing Out was correct or not. It might have been the play to discard the Fable. Obviously, knowing that I was going to draw another one changes that a lot, but
unremarkable mages. My work is a delicate process.
alright. Gonna have to keep Ashiok down. So they can minus... Did they hit a creature with that? No, they didn't. Alright, so they do be exiling, though. And now we're going to run into trouble where they just play a silly number of Planeswalkers, and I do not know how I'm going to deal with all of them. I have Enchantment Creature Sorcery for Delirium. So, like an instant off the top. Right, well, that's another sorcery. There's a Sabsunin in hand, which is very bad for me. think we just have to keep the Ashiok low. Lands are not what I need at the moment. Although I can discard them, so next turn I will have Delirium for all that that matters. But I don't know how I'm going to be attacking through the God, which will be even at first. And they have a Bitter Triumph plotted as well. And they have hit a creature with that. And they've killed that. Alright. We're going to get rid of these Blood Crypts, obviously. And yeah, I think we're in a lot of trouble here. Their stuff is just going off. My stuff really isn't. I can't attack this turn. Alright. Shieldred. If there were one card that could get me out of this pickle, it would be Shieldred, but this is going to be like a billion power trampler. I think I need that one of even or odd exile card. That would get me out of this because that's odd. These two are even. So if I top deck that and I have a Fable trigger to look for it, then I can exile these two creatures and then get good attacks. Now they have their own Blood Tithe Harvester. Oh, and a Narset. Alright. Yeah, I don't think I can beat Narset.
I understand.
I mean, none of this is good against them. I think we just have to go again and try to aggro them down. Like we did game 1. Like we need to be able to attack their planeswalkers for like 3 or 4 damage a turn from turn 2 onwards, pretty much. Alright, I mean, this is Duress, Fear, Fable. It's a perfectly reasonable hand. Fable's probably going to be discarding extra lands, if I had to guess. Alright, their hand kind of sucks. But it does mean my plans of being aggro are doomed for a while. I have to just take the Deadly Cover Up. Just because, like... I don't know how I beat a Sweeper. And I don't know how I beat... them sweeping me plus taking all of my Unholy Annexes or something like that is probably unbeatable. Just gonna have to slog through the removal. I think I play Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. And Unholy Annex plus start draining next turn. So this gives me a 2/2 on board, which should prevent them from just like happily throwing out a Planeswalker. They can tap out to Bitter Triumph it, but I'm kind of fine with that. I think I just assumed that this is going to find me a 4th land. It does. Let's go to combat, see if they Bitter Triumph. Alright. That's good. Now I think we just run out Shieldred and hope they're out of removal. Just trying to do like the most impactful play every turn. So if they don't have removal, Shieldred clocks them insanely fast and prevents them from digging to find it. If they do have removal, obviously it kind of sucks. They're still paying 3 per Bitter Triumph. which I am very happy with. Now I think we say they've used like 2 Bitter Triumphs already. I assume they don't have more removal that's 2 mana, and just crack them with a Mutavault. Yeah, so this Ashiok seems too slow. Obviously, double Interplanar Beacon gaining them life is pretty good for them, but Mutavault attack plus Blood Tithe Harvester. Alright, I have an Urborg in play, so I can do that. I guess we Thoughtseize first. We have the mana to do everything. Test of Talents. I don't care. You can take my Thoughtseizes. Please take my Thoughtseizes out of the deck. Actually, they're bad at this point because my opponent is top decking. All right. So you give me another Blood Tithe Harvester. You fire up. Does this have a creature? No, it doesn't. In that case, I think we ignore it and just put them to 3, put them to 1, and good luck. Like, you need to remove all of my creatures, except a Sweeper doesn't work because I have a Mutavault. Alright. I am, like, negative impressed by Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. That card has seemed awful this matchup. And I'm a creature deck. I have a lot of creatures, and it's just so hard to get it to actually do anything. So now they're at 1. Yeah. Easy win. There's something very satisfying about just attacking with 2 mana creatures with 3 power. It's pretty great. Alright, let's do another one. A fellow man of culture with the Fibblethip avatar. They love to see it. Yeah, this hand is great. Thoughtseize is always good. If they're an aggro deck, it's less good, but we have Fatal Push. If they're not an aggro deck, then we have Blood Tithe Harvester. Alright, they are an aggro deck. And they've let on a Soulscar Mage. So the question is, do we Thoughtseize to get perfect information, or do we Fatal Push to try to not die immediately? Alright, their hand is cracked. I think we're pretty much forced to take the light up the stage and try to just eat their current hand and hope they don't draw enough to get them over the line. Main phase play with fire, not what I would do. Oh, they don't have a second land. That's what they were trying to accomplish with that. Alright, so next turn, if they draw a land, they're probably I don't think I want to Fatal Push the Soulscar Mage. I think I run out Fear of Missing Out, discard a Harvester, and just chump block to eat a Monstrous Rage. They run out of Slick Shot Show Off. I'm only taking 1. That's fine, and I can Fatal Push it. Alright, second Fear of Missing Out, just 3 toughness. Fable seems miserable here. I do not have Delirium currently. Sorcery, Creature, Enchantment. So I would love to Fatal Push them in response to a Monstrous Rage. getting chunked by Wizard Lightning. Alright, we're putting both Fears in front of the Soulscar Mage. Alright. That's resolving anyway, so this is going to be a 3-4, and then Monstrous Rage gives +3/+1, so it'll be like a bajillion 5. I think we kill that and eat 5 and just hope to get draw life gain. Alright, second Fatal Push is huge. That's exactly what we need here. Play a tap land while I have the chance. And also go attacking. And also go attacking again. Just casual 8. So they're going to Monstrous Rage their show off, and I'll Fatal Push it in response. Yeah, absolutely not. So that means, yeah, that means they're dead. Got lucky there. Alright. Hidetsu consumes all, blows up 1-drops. Anger of the Gods is a sweeper. Extinction Event is technically a sweeper, but like it's pretty terrible. Thoughtseize is completely worthless. Withering Torment is actively harmful. So if we're taking Withering Torment out, I guess we could put Liliana in, and like the +1 takes a burn spell out of their hand. The minus kills, sacrifices a creature. I guess it's like fine. It's 3 mana, so I don't love it, but it's better than paying 3 mana to burn myself for 2. Just gotta get, like, the only card I want that potentially loses me life in my deck are the lands, obviously, because you can't cut lands, and the Annex, because it can also gain life, which is busted. Other than that, you just don't want to be spending your own mana to do your opponent's job for them in the aggro matchup. Let's see what my opponent comes up with. Taking a while sideboarding. What is my red aggressive opponent taking this long to sideboard for? Have they just left? They might be AFK. I think they have simply left, and we are going to... Nope, they showed up at the last minute. Alright. Just taking their sweet time. No, I think they have left. It auto-submitted for them, but they're about to leave. Waiting for an opponent's disconnect to finally register. Let's click around on the map. That's fun. I do love clicking. There. Ooh, that's fun. The trees are fake. Is this tree a fake? No, this tree is real. My opponent's trees are fake. Interesting. Alright, opponent. Please. Please just leave. Yeah, so they probably, maybe they just don't know it's best of 3. Maybe they thought, you know, they're a red aggressive deck. They probably think they're in best of 1, so they walked away when they conceded. Timer is about to expire. I still think, like, these timers have got to be shorter, man. Like, they left during sideboarding. Surely it should have figured out during sideboarding that they are probably not present and give them a shorter rope. Like, it's just so long. Alright, we take the win. And we find another opponent. Alright, we are on the play. Fear of missing out turns a land into a real card. Opponent has mulliganed. Opponent has mulliganed against Duress Thoughtseize. They've mulliganed twice against Duress Thoughtseize. This is pretty rough for them. Alright, so they're Dredge. I think we just take their target player mills 5. Because they could have played that this turn. And they top decked it. Thank you, Thoughtseize Bug. And they hit a Narcomoeba and a Creeping Chill. That's a scam. That is such a scam. I've never been more scammed in my life. Alright. Well, this is a fun position we find ourselves in. I think we take that, play a land, and plan to Fatal Push the Ghoul. Maybe we Fatal Push the Narcomoeba, but wait, does that have Ward or something? Oh, it's 3 mana. Oh, that's 3 mana. Okay, let's kill the Narcomoeba, and we can trade with the Ghoul with the fear of missing out next turn, maybe. In my head, that was Silver Smoke Ghoul was 2 mana. All right, so that does nothing in hand. That does nothing in hand. I kind of just want to get a fear of missing out in play. And hopefully dig towards a demon for the Unholy NX to gain me some life. Alright, they're attacking. They're probably gonna... No, they didn't sack it to draw a card. Alright, at this point, we play a Fable. Because that gives me a body now, and it doesn't bring me lower on life. I would ideally love to find a demon. They are hard casting Prized Amalgam. I will get rid of 1 Unholy Annex. And honestly, I attack here, get the treasure, and play Ritual Chamber. Like, it just sets me up so well for the future. In multiple ways. So if they have a removal spell here, I'm super punished. But if they don't have a removal spell here, we are good to go. Second hardcast Prized Amalgam. Well, I'm going to unlock a room. I think 2 3/3s. So if I attack now for 6, they attack me back to... I gain 2, they attack me back to 8, which is still fine. And then next turn, I create another 6/6. I think this attack is fine. Alright, Mutavault is decent. I think I just eat 6. And they hardcast a Narcomoeba, which is fine. I'm gonna torch that. So yeah, I can attack them to like 1 and then burn them out. Alright, let's take Hitotsugu Consumes All. It's technically Graveyard Hate. Anoint with Affliction is Graveyard Hate adjacent. Unlicensed Hearse is definitely Graveyard Hate. Anger the Gods is Graveyard Hate adjacent. So Prized Amalgams are 3, Ghouls are 3, Narcomoebas are 2. I guess Extinction Event is like fine. We'll see if we have cuts. Fatal Push can go. Like most of their... The only thing that's permanently killing is Narcomoeba, and like, who cares? And the rest of this... And the rest of their stuff is 3 mana anyway, so Revolt is awkward. They might have... Do they have enchantments? Not really. Withering Torment can go. Go for the Throat can go. Need 2 more cuts. Torch the Tower seems pretty good. Probably just 2 Thoughtseize. Like, so a lot of the creatures in their deck want to go to the graveyard anyway. Same is true of their spells in general. They want to go to the graveyard anyway. Discard spells are, like, can be fine, but I'm not excited about them, so I think if I'm looking for some extra cuts, I think it's a good place to go. This hand has Graveyard Hate into Sweeper into Shieldra the Apocalypse. So they hit a Narcomoeba, but nothing comes with it, which means it's totally fine. I'm going to play a Verge. Next turn I'll play a Swamp Unlicensed Hearse. And I suppose they probably are going to have some sort of sideboard cards to answer these things. Alright, they're just going to activate Haunted Dead immediately. Surprised Amalgam trigger goes on the stack, but I can get rid of it first. And then next turn I play Pathway on red and Anger. Alright. So they do get the Hearse. It already did a pretty good job messing with them. And let's Anger the Gods. Ashiok Dream Render. They're just continuing to set up their self-mill. Alright, so here's the question. This is the interesting turn. Do I hit Sugu Consumes All to set up Graveyard Hate? Or do I Shieldred to clock them? And I think the answer is I Shieldred to clock them. I've disrupted them enough with the Hearse and the Anger. I think now I just need to get them dead. Alright, they find a Prized Amalgam, and they hardcast a Prized Amalgam. Can that block? I think that can block. Yes, it can. I should have played Mutavault there. Well, this will... If we can fade a turn of their graveyard coming back, this will ruin their whole day. If their graveyard comes back this turn, I'm cooked. And they do find a Narcomoeba. So that's going to bring 2 prized amalgams with it. And a pair of Bloodghasts. Fortunately, no haste just yet. But I'm going to need another Anger. I guess these creatures are, like, kind of small. Alright, and then they just Abrupt Decay it anyway. Brutal. Alright, well, we're going to play Mutavault as a blocker, Fable of the Mirror Breaker as a blocker, and pass the turn and say, gee, I sure do hope I draw an Anger of the Gods. I have 2 pathways to cycle out with Fable. But good old Dredge. Another Creeping Chill. My life total isn't terrible. They are attacking as if they can get stuff back. So the ghoul is going to be coming back this turn. Which means the... Alright. They had a Haunted Dead in Graveyard, which I forgot about. So that will trigger the Prized Amalgam. So this entire game basically just comes down to, do I find another Anger of the Gods in the top couple looks? Alright, discard 2 cards, find an Anger of the Gods, win? Alright, I find another redraw, and 2 tap lands. Alright. Show me Anger of the Gods. I saw a 3-mana red spell and I got excited, but it's just a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We are back up to 13, which is something, I guess. I still can't afford to attack. Pretty sure I'm just dead here. I block... Well, I'm going to block the 3 biggest things and see if I live. Alright, we live those. I have another 2 looks at an Anger of the Gods. They have another 4 looks at a Creeping Chill. Alright, they just run out the Haunted Dead. Duress is distinctly not Anger of the Gods. Second Shieldred, also not Anger of the Gods. Alright, well, we're doing correct. We're playing correctly. We just need to draw more graveyard hate, less lands. Alright. Let's see if we can get a game 3. Like, if we had stuck like one more graveyard hate piece, I think we would have locked it out very easily. This is just 0 graveyard hate. This is not really graveyard hate, but it is interaction. I guess I have to keep double black for Shieldred in case lands go funky. So Duress can take Tome Scour. Liliana of the Veil is a problem. but it's a problem for the future. I guess we play out a Mutavault so that, I don't know, I don't think it matters. Alright, Anger of the Gods is great. We need double red for that. Alright, Hardcast Prized Amalgam. I think... Decline? Play second red source. I think we attack, get a treasure, bargain the goblin, absolutely keep Unlicensed Hearse on top, and then use the treasure to play Shieldred. Alright, so they still have nothing in their graveyard. They can Liliana away my Shieldred, but then I can Mutavault away their Liliana and play an Unlicensed Hearse.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
And I have a Fable. And I also have an Anger in hand, which is very cool. Alright, so there goes Liliana.
Delay, nothing more.
Unlicensed Hearse hits the board. Unfortunately, they have infinite time to get removal for it. Like, I genuinely don't think Unlicensed Hearse is all that great as Graveyard Hate. Their Overlord bricks. They bring Liliana back, of course. I don't think it really matters what I take here. Just gotta, may as well take something. So, Overlord is odd. Reflection is also odd. It's awkward, but I cannot let them have an Overlord sticking around. Alright, Silver Smoke Ghoul hits play. Just hard cast. I need a card advantage engine, which I do not currently have. Well, I'm going to continue taking cards from the graveyard. Alright. Second Fable. Second Fable is something. So now at least the ghoul can't attack. Well, if the ghoul attacks, it trades off and then gets Hearst. Or they Liliana again.
This fight finished before brunch.
Alright, Liliana takes my Anger. That's
You won't be
unfortunate.
outsmarting me.
Bloodghast in the graveyard. Let me just get rid of that real quick. Hidetsugu Consumes All is actually actively detrimental right now. So I'm the one with small creatures. I think we could fire at the Unlicensed Hearse and attack. I don't think that's good. I think we just need to hold out and assume that, like, we win the long game. Alright. That's less than or equal to. It's really annoying that that's in between, or I could respond to this and exile their graveyard. playing another Narcomoeba. Liliana plussing is very scary. I do not want to deal with a Liliana ultimate on top of all this nonsense. And yeah, I mean, we've just been drawing lands and lands and lands. I think I hold this for future filtering, but it's not good. Gosh, I would kill for that Anger of the Gods right about now. And yeah, they're just at 6 with Liliana. Alright. That is the best draw in my deck by a significant margin. Alright, so Silver Smoke Ghoul gets to dodge. The rest of their stuff goes away. I fire up Mutavault and keep Liliana off ultimate. We are back in the game. We are by no means winning, but we aren't completely screwed now. We still need to deal with the Liliana permanently. And we still need to not draw infinite lands. Alright, well this is slowly but surely working the Liliana down. I guess holding the land doesn't matter since they're just going to Liliana plus. I should have played it. So yeah, this line I took is strictly just -1 mana. Alright, well, this attack either kills an Narcomoeba or puts Liliana down to 2. What a weird game. Channel Takanuma is brutal. And they find another stupid ghoul. Alright, I need anything. Unholy Annex counts as anything. So now we are drawing cards at end of turn, which is not ideal, but for Liliana purposes. But we are drawing cards. We're also gaining life and draining them, which is huge. So Blade of the Oni is just going to get discarded. But now holding on to lands makes sense again because it can insulate my end of turn draw from Liliana. Put a Haunted Dead in the graveyard. They hardcast a Silver Smoke Ghoul. Alright. So they can block with the Ghoul to save the Liliana and also kill my Mutavault. So I'm going to fire up the Mutavault and just unlock Ritual Chamber. And that heavily incentivizes them to minus with the Liliana. So I think I shock in Blood Crypt there. So if they minus with Liliana, I have the option of firing up Mutavault to save the demon, especially now that I've drawn a second Mutavault. This has been a super fun match. Lots of interesting back and forth here. So if they just plus again, I'm in good shape. If they minus, I fire up Mutavault and sacrifice that. Goodbye. I still have a 6/6. I mean, that's just a freebie attack they're taking because they intend to sack it to draw a card, so I'm going to block to gain 3 life. Not really afraid of combat tricks out of the Dredge opponent. Alright, second Mutavault. Blood Tithe Harvester. And I think at this point I ignore Lily and just put them to 6. Alright, they return a Haunted Dead and put a Prized Amalgam trigger in and get a random 1/1 Spirit. So that's pretty good for them. But it's definitely not like game winning for them. I could blood to cycle through this Thoughtseize to try to hit something now. Right. Creeping Chill gets them their ghouls back. But I don't think the odds of me hitting specifically an instant that's useful here is high enough to use the blood. I take 5 here. I don't really care. I'm at 21. They get a couple ghouls back. So they only have a Stitcher Supplier as blockers. So I think I fire up Mutavault and go all attacks, all at face. So they take 8 here, go to 5. Obviously, killing a Stitcher Supplier is risky, but alright, just finds them a Narcomoeba. I think I play Blood Tithe Harvester. I think like the average card off of the blood token is a land enough of the time that I am happy to just take a 3/2 that'll block a Prized Amalgam or something. So Liliana can sack to get rid of like a tapped Blood Tithe Harvester. They have 9, 10, 11. They have 12 power in play, which is not enough.
I'm tired of your secrets.
So this is another free roll attack, it looks like. They're going to sack both of their ghouls to draw cards, to try to find an answer to my 6/6 demon. So they're just making these attacks for free, and therefore I expect my Blood Tithe Harvester to live. So I'll take 3. There goes the other one. So now they need specifically 2 mana interaction, or 3 mana if one of those is a land, and they don't find it. Alright, that was a fantastic game. That was great. Opponent was playing a cool deck. You don't see that sort of thing often. They fought through Graveyard Hate pretty well, but like ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just playing like higher average card quality, and we were able to disrupt their graveyard just enough that we could grind them out. And that's the sort of game that makes you really happy to be playing a mid-range deck. Right, easy mulligan. Relatively easy keep. Just got to draw a 3rd land at any point and we'll be good to go. Withering Torment is by far the worst card in the hand. I don't know why that card is in the deck. I've never been happy to see it. Like, and the main deck no less. If it were in the sideboard, it'd be like, oh, well, there's some enchantment situation. Thoughtseize Metallic Rebuke. I can play around Metallic Rebuke. I can't play around Thoughtseize, so I guess we'll take that. Alright, Springleaf Drum is a good draw for them. I'm just going to get a creature in play. They seem to be quite slow. They're going to be a Simulacrum Synthesizer deck, I assume. Alright. I think the way we play around Metallic Rebuke is by playing through Metallic Rebuke. Now that we have 2 annexes, I'm pretty happy to just jam one out, get it countered, and then play the other one, which will hopefully resolve. And if not, I mean, they're sitting here countering my spells while I have a 3-2 in play. Seems fine by me. So we shock that in. Go to combat. So I have enough to play the Annex and fire up the Mutavault, but not enough to play the Annex and attack with the Mutavault. Right, opponent is down to 10, and they're facing like 7 damage a turn. Alright, run out the Fable. Attack with the Mutavault. And at this point, I think we should be good to go. Like, even if they get a billion giant creatures with a Simulacrum Synthesizer, they're just gonna get wrecked by Unholy Annex over the next couple of turns. So there's an Ornithopter, which they can turn into a 1-mana artifact if they want, or they can turn the Springleaf Drum into a 2-mana artifact, or they can turn the Demonic Junker into a 5 billion mana artifact. Understood. Alright, well, we're going to see what 8-drops they have. If you have some crazy 8-drop that gains you a bunch of life... No, they're sacrificing the Ornithopter? Grimbauble to kill the Shaman and then die? Alright. Message received. They do not have giant scary 8-drop artifacts. And they are just dead. Good old Mutavault. Alright. Easy game 1. And now... Hidetsugu Consumes All seems good. They have a lot of non-land permanents with mana value 1 or less. I don't know, man. This deck... We don't really have Artifact Hate in the sideboard. So that's like... Enchantments and Planeswalkers... I guess we take Extinction Event because I assume they're doing Simulacrum Synthesizer. I just want sweepers that kill the big guys. I think probably Torch the Tower out. Because, I'm assuming this is Simulacrum Synthesizer. They're going to have a billion, like, 8/8s or whatever. Withering Torment out. I don't know. Liliana doesn't seem great. And maybe one Thoughtseize out. I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say for sure. This is 2 mana into 3 mana to 3 mana to 3 mana. I think we can keep this. I don't think it's very good. But we could get a massive blowout with Hidetsugu Consumes All. Annoying with Affliction might be able to bridge us to the late game. Patchwork Automaton. Well, that's horrifying. That is Ward 2. Man, why does it have Ward 2? Alright, so next turn we can go Black Leaf Cliffs, Hidetsugu Consumes All, get rid of all these cheap guys. And then the turn after that, we can Anoint with Affliction the Automaton. Oil Deep Gear Hulk. Look at target player's hand, you may choose a card from it, they discard it. Alright, so now we're just completely screwed. And that is Ward 1. So they're going to take probably Hitotsugu Consumes All. No, they take the Anoint with Affliction, which makes sense. They've sort of already gotten their value out of that. Well, I'm gonna play it. Take a 3 for 1. And then maybe Shieldred can miracle me out of this. Cryptic Coat. Alright, Cryptic Coat is pretty bad. Alright. Well, Swamp Shieldred. I'll block the old Royal Deep Gear Hulk if it attacks. But I actually think... Yeah, I mean... If I block that, I take 8 and die. If I block that, I take 7 and die. Alright. You got me. So Patchwork Automaton plus Cryptic Coat. I mean, how do I ever beat Cryptic Coat? I think Anger might be good. The targeted removal, Go for the Throat, and Affliction seems much worse now that I know they are on ward cards. Fatal Push is still fine because it's cheap, so I can pay for the ward. Alright, turn 1 Thoughtseize. This is a beautiful curve. No. Turn 1 Thoughtseize you. I think I have to take the Cryptic Coat because that card is just like impossible for me to beat. This lets them Thoughtseize me, but I think that's just what it has to be. We'll see what they take here. They take the NX. Second Thoughtseize. Don't hate that. Oh, second Patchwork Automaton. That's awful. Alright. In the name of mana efficiency, I think I play the Fable. In the name of mana efficiency. They do need artifacts to grow the Patchwork. And it has to be artifact spells. Duress might hit something. We don't hit another land, which is awkward. That is technically not a creature. We'll take that any day of the week. And we'll take our treasure token. Who's the artifact deck now, opponent? And I think we hold, because Fear of Missing Out now, doing Fear of Missing Out now would force us to discard the Shieldred, which I think is probably just like our best card. So we're going to have Mutavault on defense if it matters. No, they're going to make that a 2/2. They don't attack. Alright, let's attack with our Shaman. If they want to trade with the Automaton, I'm thrilled. Otherwise, it's just free treasure. Now we run out Shieldred. And the clock has begun. They didn't even chump with the Ornithopter last time, which is a bit interesting. Secondary Automaton. Sorry for the noise in the background if you can hear it. There's a painter over right now, so that's fun. Okay, now we play a Blood Tithe Harvester. And I think we make another one. And we attack with these two. These are our 2 safe attacks. And I think opponent is going to get overwhelmed here. Yeah, they agree. Alright, we are at Diamond 2. We have played against a bunch of jank decks recently. Lots of people trying out weird stuff. Not so much, Rakdos midrange mirrors. There's one Rakdos aggro player, but they only played game 1. There hasn't been Phoenix or Twiddlestorm or anything like that. Yeah, once again, sorry about the background noises. Hopefully it'll be done soon. He said it would only be a couple more hours today, like a couple hours ago, so who knows? Ooh, another Fibblethip opponent. That's fun. Alright, this hand is fantastic against aggressive decks and awful against mid-range decks. Leyline Axe. Right, well, we drew Thoughtseize. Play a Thoughtseize. So that's their plan. Their plan is to Repurposing Bay the Axe into a 5-mana artifact super fast. Don't know how I'm going to beat that. Play a tap land. They're going to run out their Ornithopters now. And I guess I'll kill an Ornithopter for all that it matters. Lots of artifact decks today, weirdly. Well, I'm going to play Fable the Mirror Breaker. It's the thing that I can do. If they Metallic Rebuke, that's not good for me. I was kind of relying on that to find anything. Now they power up their Ornithopter. That is double strike champ. Go for the throat. Not go for the throat. Alright. Well, I'm going to play a land and pass. They have a server schematic. Let them attack, and then Fatal Push. And probably just Fatal Push the other servo as well. You wouldn't believe it. Third Fatal Push. Well, let's get a couple of 1/1s. So now we are on the offensive a little bit. But we have a literal blank card in hand. So now we can turn our literal blank card into literally anything else. I think Go for the Throat was in my deck against the previous artifact player too, and I definitely didn't notice that. So they aren't doing anything. Which, I have to say, my opponent's not doing anything seems pretty ideal for me. Alright, they rebuke my Thoughtseize. I'm going to pay and take a second card from their hand. Seems pretty good. Metalwork Colossus. Repurposing Bay. Voyage Home. I think I take the Repurposing Bay. Like, that's just the card their deck is built around. If I can have them not have two of those, that seems good for me. Alright, let's continue punching them. And Ritual Chamber presents lethal next turn. So I guess we'll do that. So they can make a treasure token. Not sure what good that does. So they gain 3 life, but I have 9 points of power. Alright, I did not expect to win that game. But opponent was somehow more awkward than me. Let's take Hidetsugu Consumes All, an Extinction Event. And Anoint with Affliction and Liliana and Anger of the Gods. Take Go for the Throat out. Withering Torment out. I don't know, single target removal against them seems pretty terrible. Fatal Push is probably good enough, but the rest of it not so much. Don't know what Torch the Tower is doing. And maybe even cut 2 Fatal Pushes. I don't know. They have like the Leyline Axe and stuff, which means they're pretty aggressive. They have a lot of creatures. Duress often won't be taking what I want it to take. I don't know. Discard spells seem important, but I'm not very good at sideboarding, so there you go. Alright, this hand is terrible. Just no interaction, no threat. This hand is fantastic. Alright, I think we Greed Lord and put a land to the bottom. I want my sideboard card, I want my selection, I want my Thoughtseize, I want my creature. Like, I can't really afford to bottom any of these spells. And we do draw the 3rd land drop immediately. That's no problem. Bay Synthesizer. We're going to take the Synthesizer, because that is the card that actually wins in the game. Anger of the Gods is fine. What was that pause? Did they draw a Metallic Rebuke? I think they did. So that's a 0 mana artifact. I don't know that Hidetsugu Consumes All is actually good. So there's the Repurposing Bay Leyline Axe combo. We were unable to stop it. So let's just hope that whatever they're doing isn't very good. I'm going to play a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. There's no point Thoughtseizing to take the Bay. Obviously that card could be good. And it is. It might have been a land. Alright, so now we're going to be fighting a extremely uphill battle. We have Sorcery Enchantment, so we are not going to be getting... what's it called? Not going to be getting Delirium. Thoughtseize is too late. Anger is probably no good. Alright, Mutavault is great with Ritual Chamber. I messed up. I could have attacked with the Mutavault. I could have attacked with the Mutavault here using the Treasure and then played the Annex post-combat. So I'm 2 damage short. And no point Thoughtseizing an Ornithopter. Metalwork Colossus. Wonderful. And another Repurposing Bay to trigger the Synthesizer. And Ornithopter on Chump Block duty. So we drew a bunch of lands. They got to pop off and do their thing. Yeah, I think we are just straight up dead here. We could like make a demon, play it out, but I don't think there's any point. Just run it back. If we're on the play, I think we might be able to... I think our Thoughtseizes and Duresses might be good enough to beat them on the play. let's see. On the play, Duress into Demon, into Annex, into Shieldred or Extinction Event, depending on what we need. This is a great hand. Okay, so they've mulliganed as well, which is pretty good for me. Double Repurposing Bay is not ideal. I think I just take the Springleaf Drum, slow them down. Alright, play my Blade. Now, if they can play that to make a 1/1, so I can't attack with the Blade, but at least I'm getting Annex triggers. Alright, use my mana efficiently. Play the Annex. Don't attack. Get the drains out. And they just concede on the spot? I mean, I was like marginally favored at best there. Maybe they assumed that I was just going to have the nuts, but like I needed to draw a 4th land to play Shieldred. I don't know. That concession seemed very preemptive. Premature, rather. Very premature concession there, but I guess we take those. We were certainly pretty far ahead. I just don't know that I would call it winning. Like to give a chess metaphor, I think we were like +1. Like definitely better off than they are comfortable with, but not anywhere near where it's like the game is over. Alright, waiting on an opponent. While we're waiting, if you've enjoyed, make sure to follow or subscribe. Helps me out a lot. Alright, cool. As usual, as soon as we say that, we find an opponent. Works like a charm. Alright. This is good against slow decks. Thoughtseize. Take my Duress. Well, that's definitely worrying. So now we have no info. Now we have no info and no plays until turn 3. Second Thoughtseize. Very cool. There goes my Annex. Alright, we do find a Thoughtseize. We just play around like some weird counterspell. Shieldred's Edict 3 steps ahead. Let's take 3 steps ahead. Both cards are pretty good here. Neither card is amazing here. So I'm going to play out a Fable. Get a 2/2. And I think because we know about the Shieldred's Edict, I think next turn I play Fear of Missing Out instead of Shieldred. I don't think we need the second Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Fear is just so awkward to play because you have to discard. I think I discard the Blood Tithe Harvester because the 4th land is important. Alright, they're pausing. Alright, they fire off the Edict immediately. Reasonable. I get a treasure token. And they know Shieldred is coming. That's no secret to them. They might have drawn another counterspell or something. They're certainly leaving a whole lot of mana up. Tacked into their hive just to see. if I could get him. Alright, Shieldred resolves. It's a good start. And it triggers. That's a great start. Path of Peril, just regular version, seems pretty terrible. It implies they're Esper with mana color problems. Alright, we draw another land. Can't do anything fancy here, just attack for 6. Opponent is going to 2 on their draw step. And if that isn't a removal spell for Shieldred, they literally just lose. Alright. Narset could find a removal spell for Shieldred.
Keep an open mind.
Yep, alright. So they are Dimir control. I mean, Path of Peril, I guess they're probably just not planning on cleaving that. Invoke Despair, Liliana. Bankbuster. Out. Torch. Fatal Push. Go for the Throat. Withering Torment. So they have Hive. So I don't want to get rid of all of my removal. Probably just like leaving some Fatal Pushes in. Are any of the rest of these cards good against them? They didn't show any graveyard synergy. They showed Narset, which I guess Torch is like fine against. I think Torch can hit Planeswalkers. It can kill a Narset if they are like the whatchamacallit, the wheel deck with like memory and all of that stuff. Being able to surprise kill a Narset might get me out of something. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. Duress. Just duress you and then duress you. Ooh, I messed up. I messed up badly. I should have played Takenuma. Now I don't have a red source. Alright, well, both of those cards are basically the same. Alright, so I have successfully created a mana color problem for no reason. If I had just played Takenuma first and Pathway on red, we would have been fine. Alright, we get bailed out. They have an Anoint with Affliction. So I'm just going to play a Fable. Alright, there's a Shieldred. I think, awkwardly enough, I discard Double Fear of missing out. And I draw the third. So if we live to next turn and find another land, I'm getting obliterated by this Shieldred. But don't know what to do about that. Alright, so we find 5th land, so next turn we can invoke Despair and at least temporarily be rid of Shieldred. Or we could just trade our board for it. Alright, Fatal Push. That's fine. We ended up gaining 4 life anyway. Alright, Liliana is great. Let's go land, invoke Despair. Sack a creature is first, so I get to draw my cards. And then we can Liliana the next Shieldred. Yep, just draw for turn. Now, I wish I had the Annex.
No more distractions. Let's make this.
Alright, you can sack your Shieldred.
What One of your friends has to leave.
And I think we want to pressure them. So this is an additional point of damage this turn, and even more points of damage on future turns. Alright, opponent concedes. Can't beat the Liliana. Another good match. We've played against lots of off-meta decks, and we sort of bullied all of them. That's always a good sign. You know, if you're trying to play a good deck, bullying all the off-meta decks is generally a sign that you're doing the right thing. Alright. Another pretty good hand. Turn 1 Duress. See what's up. And it's Selesnya Company. Alright, well, take their collected company is pretty good. Aven Interrupter is whatever. I think I just play out a 3-1. I could blow up their Elvish Mystic. But yeah, so now I get to kill a Thalia instead, which is a much juicier target. And play a tap land, and I think just pass. Actually, no, I'm going to attack. I think I'm fine with... I don't think I expect them to trade, so I think I'm fine taking the 3 damage. Alright, no 4th land is pretty bad. I guess I hold up Torch the Tower. So the age-old Screw versus Flood. They're holding up Aven Interrupter. They're going to have to budge first. I'm dealing way more per turn than them. I'm very happy for us to both pass without doing anything. Play another Llanowar Elves. And I draw a 4th land. Alright. Oh, Menace, right. I forget that this card has keywords. Alright, so now nothing happens. I'm not playing Shieldred into Aven Interrupter. And they're... Alright, they run out Enduring Innocence. So I torch the Enduring Innocence. They flash in the Aven Interrupter to plot my Enduring Innocence. Now, Fatal Push doesn't work because I haven't had a permanent leave the battlefield this turn. But it does now. So there's that. And I can Duress, check for Coco. Nope, 2 lands. Perfect. And so now the Interrupter is gone. 2nd Enduring Innocence. Alright. Now I can just Shieldred. The coast is clear to Shieldred. And play a Mutavault. So now their Enduring Innocence actively kills them. So that's 4 damage to an attacking or blocking creature. So I'm not gonna throw Shieldred under the bus. Which of these has lifelink? That has lifelink? Okay. Noted. If I fire up 2 Mutavaults and attack, they can kill 1, and then I can push the Innocence and get rid of their lifelink. Seems pretty good. I think they actually need more than just a single Agonjo. Alright, permanent has left the battlefield. Until this creature leaves the battlefield. So Fatal Push, Revolt is on. Yep. They, I mean, probably couldn't have known that. It wasn't obvious that that sequencing left them dead to Fatal Push, but it did. So, so here we are. All right. Take removal. Hitsugu consumes all, hits Mana Dorks and nothing else. That seems bad. That hits, like, this hits like 1 creature and an Enduring Innocence. I don't know, I'll throw it in the pile. Maybe it'll make the cut. Duress is absolutely awful. They're almost all creatures. I got a Coco with a Duress that game, but that was lucky. Do we, like, cut Fear of Missing Outs, maybe? We need to make cuts. We brought in a lot of removal. I think we might say, let's play a grindy long game and just cut the Fear of Missing Outs in 1 Blood Tithe Harvester. That could be completely the wrong approach, but I think that's the approach I'm going to take. This is a 5-lander. The 2 spells are good, but I don't think I can keep 5 lands, 2 spells, pretty much no matter what the 2 spells are. This hand, on the other hand, is pretty good. I think Unholy Annex goes, or what? I've forgotten what that card is even called. Alright, let's Thoughtseize you. Aven Interrupter, Coco, Mystic. Well, we're going to take the Coco again. Archon of Emeria off the top, of course. Well, I'm going to be playing tap lands for the rest of the game, I suppose. And they have Aven Interrupter up, which is pretty brutal. See if they fire it off on any spell. They do. Alright. Well, I'm going to play a Pathway on red to leave Anger of the Gods as an out. Alright, if I draw Anger of the Gods here, we basically win on the spot. I don't. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. So Unholy Annex wouldn't technically leave me dead, but like it would basically leave me dead. I think we play Liliana this turn and just get rid of something, and then maybe they'll direct something else to kill Liliana, and that'll buy us a bit more time. Then we play Mutavault. Actually, we should have played Pathway so that we could... No, because this is too generic. Alright, so if we draw Anger of the Gods... Okay, Extinction Event... Extinction Event, choose odd. Please don't Aven Interrupter me, bro. So if they have Aven Interrupter or Coco into Aven Interrupter, I'm completely screwed. Name odd. It feels like a Collected Company turn. It really feels like it. But at least I can play this Harvester for free now. Okay, Wandering Emperor. Much less scary than Aven Interrupter.
You're ready to lose.
Still makes a 2/2.
May your blade strike true.
So I can trade with the 2/2, but no, they'll give that first strike.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
Alright, I think I go to 2 here. A lot has to go right for me to win. So I go to 2. I play second Harvester. And they Coco in response, so this has to basically completely brick. Alright, no, they hit the nuts. Alright, so if that Coco had bricked, I would have sacked the Blood Tithe Harvester to kill the Knight, since I would have had 2 blood tokens in play. And then we would have had to fight through Wandering Emperor, but maybe it's possible. Alright, this hand is pretty good. We have Thoughtseize, we have Anger of the Gods, and we have lots of... we have lots of card advantage as well. I think we just take the Thalia, because that's going to slow us down, and we need to not be slowed down. Enduring Innocence theoretically gets swept up by Anger. Alright, do I Anger now, or do I hold out for more value? And I think I hold out for more value. The downside is this is also going to give them more value. Because, yep, Skyclave Apparition. They take the Saga, which does mean... Alright, I declare no blocks here, because I need Anger to kill that so that it exiles it. I also need a billion black sources. Alright, so let's exile all of their stuff, and I have a 3/3. They play out Kellen, and explore under it. If I draw a land here, Invoke Despair goes crazy. If I don't draw a land, I think I just Ritual Chamber. Alright, I don't draw a land, but I do draw Liliana.
Something suspicious is going
We are firmly in control at this point, I would say.
Sacrifices must be made.
We are attacking them for 3. They have no board. I think we play out Unholy Annex. Right, they're going to Coco in response. And they get an Aven Interrupter. That's fine, actually. I have to think. I could torch it now, get the Annex now, but no, it's plotted, so that wouldn't even work. Alright, I think the line is plus on Invoke Despair. Have Torch available as an emergency button. Otherwise, just plan on angering next turn. Thalia is fine, I can still pay 4. And a land, alright. We win, basically. Alright, so they're gonna try to... They're gonna try to kill Liliana and fail.
Now you've got
So Liliana gets to stick around, and they just no fear of the anger. Alright, goodbye, you're bored. Hello, Ritual Chamber for free? Stonks. And tap land, no activation Liliana, keep the torch the tower. Alright. Enduring Innocence basically just means they're cooked. We unlock the Annex. We exile that, it doesn't return. Now we can plus and have a sack online and just be attacking for like 8. Easy up to Diamond 1. I'm going to be completely real. I do not know how the ranks work. Is Diamond the best rank below Mythic? Is there something in between? I have no idea. We might be about to find out, honestly. We've been on a crazy tear. Alright. Alright, we find another opponent. Oh, this is sketch. It's 3 land, no red. But we'll probably find a red source. And we're playing against mono red, or some form of red aggressive deck. So I think we lead on Thoughtseize just to know what exactly is going on. Lots of buffs for creatures, not a lot of creatures. Let's take the Emberheart Challenger and see where we go from there. Yeah, they just play out the Sellsword. Alright, they call me Mono Black Control. Because I play black lands and black spells. Alright. I'm gonna Fatal Push that. They're gonna Infuriate in response. And I'm gonna also Fatal Push that. Alright, so that was pretty good. Unfortunately, we are struggling to hit red sources. But we have a Blade of the Oni, so that's a thing. They find a Heartfire hero. I will take every opportunity to block with this. They just let the trade happen. Woo, no castable spells. That has Valiant. Oh, Screaming Nemesis. That's fun. I do love me some Screaming Nemesis. Why are they not attacking with the Heartfire hero? Alright. We find technically a red source. Still no attacking with the Heartfire hero. And they're just Monstrous Raging the Nemesis. Seems like a mistake to me. Alright, at this point, we are dead, I think. We can play the Harvesters, but they don't even trade with the Nemesis. And even if they did, it would clock us for a bunch. Alright, take like everything that technically removes things. Thoughtseizes are awful. Withering Torment is bad. Blade of the Oni is like kind of sus. It's 1 toughness, means it just sort of doesn't accomplish anything on defense. Dies to random pings. I guess we cut that. I don't like being down a game. Easy mulligan. Easy-ish keep. Bottom a Harvester. Verge Duress. I would love to take their turn 1 Kumano. That feels great. They just have a Fatal Push. So let's not get too hasty. Just hold up Fatal Push. Manifold Mouse. Well, that's concerning. I think I have to kill the Heartfire hero. It sucks because now they just have a Manifold Mouse forever. Alright, so now we can play Blood Crypt tapped and Harvester, which will, it'll get a Fatal Push out of their hand at least. We'll see what they can do with this mouse. It can give itself Double Strike. Alright, not doing anything too interesting. Just going to be attacking for a couple. 4 there. Alright, play a red source. We have an Urborg in hand. Anger away. So we need to draw useful cards. We need to draw useful cards. We have this blood token to do that with. Please give me good cards. Shieldred. Alright. I take those any day of the week. Gain life and starts putting on the pressure. Now the question is, if they attack with the mouse, if they attack with a double striking mouse, do I block? With 3 mana up, I think the answer is no. Yeah, and that's why. Because that would have killed my Shieldred, and I need to gain life. Alright, and then they fling it. Put me to 3, but now I'm gaining 2 life a turn. No attacks. I don't want to be going back and forth with the 3/3 when I'm only gaining 2 a turn. Alright, yeah. So now we just get to sit here while I gain life with Shieldred and eventually draw into something. Love that card. Seems maybe Shieldred is one of those cards where you're like, is this okay? It feels great to play. Here's how I would put it. Shieldred feels incredibly fair and reasonable when you're playing it, and incredibly dumb and unfair when you're playing against it. That's my experience. Alright, well, game 3 on the draw, we have turn 1 Fatal Push, and they're clunking around. I would love to just play a land tapped, continue to hold up Fatal Push. Alright, Screaming Nemesis is fine, assuming I can turn on Revolt at some point. So I can crack a Blood to turn on Revolt. I'm going to shock in just for the sake of emergency. Alright, that's convenient. So that turns on a Revolt for me with no extra tricks needed. Emberheart Challenger is annoying. But we're just going to get rid of the Screaming Nemesis. Take a giant chunk. And once again, just gonna lean on Shieldred. This is a 2-mana spell, right? Yeah. So if that had been a 1-drop, Hitotsugu Consumes All would have probably been better. But let's just run out Shieldred. And then next turn Unholy Annex, and just be gaining all the life. Alright, so that has Trample and Double Strike. I think we block the Swift Spear. That takes 6. And just gain all of our life from Shieldred Cheese. Alright, we fire up the Mutavault. No attacks. Back to 9, right where we were last time. Alright, I really do not love that thing. I am going to have to block it this time. Urabrask's Forge is concerning. Yeah, so now I even have to chump block it with Shieldred, which is pretty terrible. Alright, we chump block there. We sack a blood token to draw a card to gain some life. Alright, well, double Fatal Push is something. You get out of here. You get out of here. Fire up a Mutavault. Pass the turn. I have a Mutavault on defense to block a Forge token. So we need to either win the game quickly or find a long-term answer to the Forge. There's a Monstrous Rage. Good thing I blocked it. So I'd considered like, oh, just take 3, but no, you can't be taking 3 there. I think we unlock, go to 4, and hope they draw a land. So if this card is a non-land, pretty much any non-land, I die here. Like a Play with Fire. Yep, Calisel Sword. Good game. We needed them to just not top deck like exactly a burn spell there. We were so close. There wasn't really any way, at least in that last game, there wasn't really, that last turn there wasn't anything we could have done better. Like we just needed to threaten to kill them as soon as possible, and they drew the card they needed. Really, it's not even like, there are a lot of cards that wouldn't have done it for them there. They drew the one that did. Alright, opponent Young Lore Weaver. Let's see what you have. Alright, this is a classic. Thoughtseize Harvester Fable. 1, 2, 3, right up the curve. Spyglass Siren. What are you cooking? Thoughtseize, Preacher, Annex. I think I'd just take the Annex. It's the card that I really have no way of dealing with game 1, aside from like the one-of removal spell. So you can Thoughtseize me. I have 2 good 3-drops. So they're just going to take a 2-drop to tempo me. Draw another good 3-drop. So next turn I Fable. Preacher of the Schism is kind of a problem. But we're going to do what we can. So we Fable. Next turn we Mutavault Annex. So they get a full value Preacher, which sucks for me. A 1/1 lifelink isn't the most impactful thing ever, but still pretty bad. So they're like Esper midrange, I guess. That's what they're doing. Alright, Flash and Fairy Mastermind. I'm just going to be playing into that. Alright, Torch Fatal Push. That's pretty good. Do I actually do that this turn? Let's go to combat. Alright, so that makes it easy. Now I have Revolt. So I Fatal Push the Preacher. And Torch the Mastermind. And Annex can wait another turn. Just getting rid of all of their stuff this turn seems pretty good. Alright, map onto the Siren, and it's an Unholy Annex. That is potentially brutal for me. They don't have demons, though. So I take 3. My Fable flips. Opponent is thinking. And let's Annex. Do they have Counterspell? No. Alright. Fire up the Mutavault. Alright, they have a Get Lost. That's pretty good. And a Alright. Well, Fear of Missing Out is going to have to do a lot of work. So they're just doing this possibly just completely on its own. Just Ritual Chamber into Annex. It looks like it's going to work. So I need... I'm just dead in the air, right? Yep. Alright. Opponent had all the removal spells they needed that game. Invoke Despair seems fantastic. Liliana seems fine. Itsugu Consumes All seems pretty good. Do they have graveyard stuff? Not really. Alright, so then what do we cut? I think we cut the Thought Seizes. No. We cut the Duresses and keep the Thought Seizes. Maybe down to like 2 Thought Seizes. I want to be able to go on the offensive against them. Yeah, I think the discard magic is just like, I don't know, black-based mirrors. Discard magic is these games go long. You need top decks. You need top decks, and Thoughtseize is not a good top deck. They have their Spyglass Siren. I have second Torch the Tower. Play Red Source. Bloodghast. What's Bloodghast doing? So I guess they are some sort of reanimator, graveyardy. They are some sort of graveyardy based deck. I mean, I have the Torch the Tower, so the Bloodghast is distinctly unthreatening. Not going to trade my Goblin Shaman for it. Alright. You love to see a Fatal Push on like a third of a card. Do I greed? I think I discard one of the lands. Withering Torment's pretty good. Let's torch the Bloodghast first. This is like semi-bait. So if they have like some sort of counter magic, I would love for them to tap out before my annex. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. So now I'm going to need to find a demon, preferably a Mutavault, because I think the 6/6 is just going to get got by something at some point. I would love to draw into a Mutavault. Thoughtseize is pretty good here. I don't know what they take. They take the second annex. They are real scared about getting burned out. Alright, there's the Mutavault. That's huge. They're tapped out right now. So they're tapped out this turn, so I will get the Ritual Chamber Demon just as, like, it's better use of my mana. They're going to have to kill it, and it still guarantees a success in the short term. I am getting bullied by this Bloodghast. There's the Thoughtseize that I took out of my deck, specifically because it was bad in this exact circumstance. I do not love Withering Tormenting a Bloodghast. But it's a 4/3. We gain 2 a turn. They get Bloodghast back. And they concede. Yeah, so they were dead to a Mutavault attack there. Alright, let's try again. Maybe I could have brought in Anger of the Gods. Probably should have. There's a real chance I lose because I don't have Anger of the Gods. I think it'll be fine. Opponent is thinking. Alright, turn 1 Thoughtseize. Pretty good. Turn 2 Bloodtithe Harvester. Decent. Torch the tower at some point. Alright, we Thoughtseize them. Fatal Push, No More Lies, Fairy. I think I take the Fairy, because that means that they're just going to have to play a longer game. So obviously this Harvester is just going to get Fatal Pushed, but it gives me a blood token. And every little bit of value that you can get. Alright, I need to crack this. Get rid of a Fatal Push. I need to draw a land here. I draw a land. It's not ideal. I would have loved an untapped black or red source for Bloodtithe Harvester. Mutavault is fine, though. Yikes. No double black for Liliana, which would have been fantastic there. Ah, Rafine, that's what they're up to. Okay. So we managed to beat them when they didn't have the card their deck is built around. Now it all clicks, what they're doing. I need an untapped black source for Shieldred, please. Get rid of Torch the Tower. Card does not do nearly enough damage. Alright. My wish has been made true. Untapped black source for Shieldred. Now Conniving is suddenly very awkward for them. And I would love to draw another untapped... Gosh, I mean, I'm nowhere near Invoke Despair. The colors in this deck are sketch. When did that Bloodghast get in there? At a Connive at some point? Alright. Have fun drawing a bunch of cards. have fun drawing a bunch of cards, opponent. Drain you for 6. I'll block that. And take 4. And somehow Shieldred is even still a double Fatal Push. They probably should have Fatal Pushed my Shieldred there. Alright. So, let's see here. Is it Bloodtithe the Harvester? Or Hidetsu Consumes All? I think... Or Liliana. I think Liliana might be the best. No, Bloodtithe Harvester gives me a secondary blocker and also lets me draw a card in an emergency. I mean, not even in an emergency, I'm just going to do it now. This card seems bad here. I would love to gain 2 life and play a swamp. Alright, so now I have a chump blocker for something. And Shieldred is still clocking them. So Bloodtithe Harvester chump blocking gives me more value than Liliana just taking away a 1/1. They have their own Shieldred, which means we are officially at parity in terms of the life gain from Rafine triggers, which means we're losing badly. So we need something crazy here. If they'd attacked with a 4th creature, they would have died before their triggers resolved, so that would have been funny. Let's just block those guys. And draw. And Invoke Despair. This is just going to get a Bloodghast. None of these are enchantment creatures by any chance. Nope. I get to gain some life, which is immediately countered by the life loss. And we pass. We have a Withering Torment, which can get rid of their Shieldred if we live that long. Random Spyglass Siren, not a huge deal. Unholy Annex of their own. So they could, like, attack with a whole bunch of stuff here and get me. 2 Bloodghasts, somehow don't have haste. Thoughtseize. What does Thoughtseize take here? Backup Shieldred. And only 1 attack. Wait, that's not good for them, right? Oh, I guess because they're at 4, so they can't attack with more or they die. Wait, that's great for me, actually. Hang on. Destroy target creature or enchantment. I have 3 mana to pay for a No More Lies, if that's your interaction. And boy, will I pay for a No More Lives. Pay 3. Thank you. Your Shieldred is gone. Play a tap land. No attacks. This is whenever you attack, so they just can't attack until they... That kills them, right? They don't have a demon, right? Oh, Rafina's a Sphinx demon. Okay. Fair enough. Unfortunately for you, I have my own Unholy Annex. I was going to say greatness at any cost, but they left. That was a good game. We got pretty lucky there. I did not realize I was playing against a Rafine deck until game 3, but we managed to pull it out. Alright. Somehow we've gotten our 15 daily wins. I'm not sure when that happened. Well, let's keep on running. So I have no idea where I am on the rank ladder. I don't pay attention to it when it pops up. And then I'm... Alright, so this is mono black with 2 red cards. We'll draw a red source at some point. I have faith. Elves. Elves, eh? Alright. Alright, we're playing mono black control, but I have drawn a castable spell for mono black control. Yep, I can take 1. That's fine. Dwynen's Elite. What's that? Tyvar. And that's just going to gain indestructible forever. I think we just kill a 2/2 while we have the opportunity. Alright, red source acquired. Alright, so now the question is, how do we beat Tyvar the Pummeler? The answer is, I don't know. Let's discard some lands to Greed Lord it. And Thoughtseize take a good card from their hand, hopefully. Just a Dwynen's Elite and 3 lands. And play a Blood Tithe Harvester. So Tyvar can just, like, attack forever. Because, like, they have, like, random Elf Warrior. Alright. They haven't figured it out. I think we play Unholy Annex to get the value going. So if we can untap with Blood Tithe Harvester Reflection, we basically win. They had a Coco. Oh gosh. Alright. Now we're in serious trouble. Still though, if we untap with Blood Tithe Harvester Reflection, we can kill the Tyvar and then, I don't know, do something. Alright, they are swinging out. I'll trade with the Dwynen's Elite. This is going to give everything +X+X. I think I'm probably dead here. Haven't done the math. Yep, super dead. Elves, am I right? Alright, Anger in, Hitotsugu in, Extinction Event in, Unknown Earth Affliction in, Duress extraordinarily out. They have 3 Trees City. Is it worth Damping Sphere for that? Yeah, Damping Sphere is actually good. They just like cast a lot of spells in a turn. And I think we cut 5 creatures. Blade of the Oni is a demon, which makes it more valuable, I think. I think I got another Blood Tithe Harvester for Liliana. And say maybe this is good. We are playing Rakdos control in this matchup 100% of the time. Removal spell, Shieldred. It's not exciting, but it's like fine. Shaper's Sanctuary. Okay. That's probably lights out with this hand. I think we still have to kill their stuff. I think the plan for dealing with Shaper Sanctuary is going to be just shielded them. So I would love to not have to kill anything this turn, so that I can Shieldred and at least punish them for drawing a billion cards. That card that destroys all 1 mana and smaller things would go crazy here, but Shieldred is also pretty good. They seem to be on a slow-ish start comparatively. Elvish Archdruid I'm just going to kill before it untaps. Alright, so that is a 3-drop, so I do have to go for the Throat It. You can have your card and lose your 2 life. Do we pivot? I think we pivot here. Attack them with Shieldred. And I think we play the Fable out. I think we can afford that this turn. I mean, they have a lot of mana, but probably we're going to need a, like, if we need a sweeper, Fable will help us find it. Yeah, so they're just tapping all their guys to set up. And yeah, so Fatal Push actually is lethal there. I think I'm happy with this. Invoke Despair to get rid of Shaper Sanctuary is just far too niche. Like, you can't be putting in a 5-mana spell that kind of vaguely deals with their 1-mana enchantment that's already drawn them 2 cards. Alright. So I would like to save the Fatal Push. I would like to save the Fatal Push for post Hidetsugu, or to get a 2-drop, or an Elvish Archdruid, for example. Alright, I think this turn we just run out Damping Sphere. So that should prevent them from going too crazy. Next turn we can worry about how exactly we are dealing with this board. Unfortunately, they have not played a bunch of 1-mana elves. I'm going to play a Blood Tithe Harvester as a blocker. And then hope the plan is to get Revolt and kill one of their things. Alright, second Elvish Archdruid. Yeah, this is not great. I guess technically an Anger of the Gods still does something. And I think I'm not dead instantly. So I need to Fatal Push a Leaf Crown Visionary. Alright, pass to blockers. Block the War Master. And Damping Sphere coming in clutch. Damping Sphere. Opponent is trying to figure it out. I wonder what they want to do with a billion white men. Alright. Yep. They're just activating the War Master. Well, I can kill the Visionary, shrink all the rest of them, and probably still die. I don't still die. Alright. I have exactly one draw at a sweeper, specifically Anger of the Gods. I don't find it. Yep. This is what happens when you play against elves and you do not have a sweeper. Even though opponent doesn't know what they're doing with Damping Sphere, they're probably going to report that as a bug and be confused when they are told that no, that's how it works. Alright, let's play another match. Play another match, hopefully get some wins. Alright. Play first. This is fine. Duress should hopefully buy us time to our late game. It's a This Town deck. Well, I'm just going to take the card their deck is named after. I could have taken the Hopeless Nightmare, but I don't mind discarding an extra Fable. I can play an untapped land here. It costs me nothing to bluff that I might have something. So they have Shepherd, which can bounce a thing. They have Fear of Isolation, which can bounce a thing. I mean, this is just like the standard deck, but in but in Explorer. Alright, well I'm going to play Black Cleave Cliffs while it's untapped. And Fable. So they have a 2/3 flyer, which is marginally difficult to deal with. There's the Storm Chaser's talent making an Otter. This is the most standard deck that you'll ever see in Pioneer. Discard a random land. Alright, Sheoldred is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting here. It might just cut them off, though. Alright, we're returning the Hopeless Nightmare. I think I discarded the Thoughtseize. I could have cast it this turn, but I don't really have life to spare at the moment. Hopefully a couple turns of Sheoldred will help. If I can get a couple turns of Sheoldred, that would be nice. Alright, Hopeless Nightmare takes my Blade. Could just play a 3/1. Play a Pixie. This freaking deck, man. They're just doing so much. So that's going to give them another otter. Alright. Urborg is not what you want to see. I'll play it and attack with Shieldred. Probably just get a chump block, which is fine by me. Just anything to get basically a 0 for 1. And hopefully they want to do some card draw related value and Shieldred can cut them off of that. Or at least make it a bit dicey. I am taking 4 in the air a turn though. Alright, they sack the Nightmare to scry 2. 2 bottom. That's a good sign. I don't like it when they mouse over my Shieldred, but please. They had the Fatal Push and they turned on Revolt and everything. I don't think mana is a problem. So I think I'll block there. Alright. Well, Takenuma can give me Shieldred back. But I don't know if I'm gonna live to actually cast this Shieldred. So they're gonna return this town, probably. Yep. Now I go to 2. I play Shieldred and I die in the air. Alright. Anger of the Gods. Hidetsugu consumes all. Invoke Despair. Do they have a lot of the same? Not really. Sort of a mix. Alright, so these are all the cards that I could conceivably play. I think probably the single target removal is mostly sus. Withering Torment can kill a Storm Chaser's talent, which is like kind of cool. I don't think the graveyard angle is important enough to sideboard in against it. They have a lot of 1-mana permanents, so Hidetsugu consumes all seems like an all-star. The discard magic seems decent. Too many cards to bring in, not enough cards to bring out. I guess like decent is probably not good enough. Let's cut the discard. Cut the discard stuff. They have a lot of like relatively low value stuff that I'm not super happy to Thoughtseize. I don't know. It's tough to say. One lander is a mulligan, unfortunately. This is pretty good. So if we can make it to to turn 3 with no spells, then this can really start shutting down like a lot of the value they've gotten up to that point with Hidetsugu. Alright, there's a Storm Chaser's talent. Here's a tap land. The question is going to be really, when do I pull the trigger on Hidetsugu consumes all? And the answer is probably going to be never, because I imagine they take it. Yep, unsurprisingly. There it goes. And what else do they have? The second Thoughtseize. Well, here we are, I guess. Fatal Push is not a terrible draw. Not amazing, but it's fine. Get rid of an Otter. They're shocking. And playing a Hopeless Nightmare. I think I will discard a land. It's super risky, obviously. I have 3 mana already. I have lots of good 3 mana spells. So I don't really want to... Obviously, like, Shieldred could single-handedly bail me out, but... Alright, Hopeless Nightmare is going to take the Withering Torment. And then we Fatal Push the Otter. And we play Blade of the Oni, and I don't know. They've gone crazy. They're this time they're going to give them infinite value at this point. I guess we could no blocks and just try to race them. We have a 3-power menace. Oh, Kaito. That's so much worse than I ever could have possibly imagined. Why are they playing Kaito? Alright, well, the good news is I have an attacker to punch Kaito. The bad news is it's not gonna kill Kaito. And if they play Nurturing Pixie to pick up the Kaito. Alright, well, we can Fatal Push the Pixie. Attack for 3. They're at 9. They do have to be a little bit careful. None of those lands are anything interesting. They're just duels. They have to be a touch careful or they will just die to this Blade of the Oni. It probably shouldn't be a problem for them. Alright, hard cast Kaito.
The housewarming party has arrived. Sit down.
Alright, well, I think we lose here. Because Kaito can plus, get out of range of Dynamutavault. Or draw, or Surveil to draw a card. Looks like they're going Surveil to draw a card. So that does exchange the Kaito for that card in theory.
Information is its own.
If I draw... if I draw an Annex here, that could be pretty good. They're so close to being out of gas until they draw this town, of course. Scavenger. Did they have another enchantment? If they have another enchantment... Alright, Tithing Blade gets rid of my Blade of the Oni. Takenuma doesn't really get anything interesting. I think I just have to attack the Kaito. The Scavenger will probably chump block. No? Alright, they're fine with me killing the Kaito.
Fine. I'll make a new plan.
I think this just has to be a land. And we're just gonna have to get lucky. And even if we manage this, we still have to win another game, and this deck seems very, very good against ours. Alright, and there's the infinite value showing up. So they can recast that, get another otter, make this a 2/2, get a 3/1 as well, because why not? Alright, I really need to draw something insanely powerful. How about another Mutavault? Does that count as insanely powerful? Yeah, I guess we take our 2 damage a turn. We have the other Mutavault on defense. But they get to sack Hopeless Nightmare to scry, which means they're pretty much guaranteed gas, whereas I just have to pure top deck. Alright, double bottom. If there were ever a scry that could give me a slight chance, it would be double bottom. Into, like, hit a land. Please just play a land out pre-combat. That would be cool. Well, I'm going to fire up a Mutavault and attempt to trade with the Scavenger. Alright, 2 map tokens. I go to 1. Those are only as a sorcery. Alright, surely this opponent can find a way of dealing 1 damage. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, go. I have 2 blockers, technically. But they get another Scry 2 to find literally anything that kills a token. Alright, they have topped a card, which I assume means I've died. Yep, Tithing Blade. Tithing Blade kills one of my blockers. Alright, well, that took them unnecessarily long to put me out of my misery. Yeah, I mean, I just wish that the deck, like I've played against that deck a couple of times, and it always ends in these miserable top deck wars where technically you could top deck something good and win, but you never do. And it's just like, please, can they just, like, have the same win rate but kill you faster instead of with random 1/1s and 2/2s? Alright, let's see what this opponent has. This is a pretty good hand. Obviously, it all banks on whether or not Fatal Push is good enough to get us out of the early game. Looks like it will be. Against blue-black Yorion something or other. Momentum Breaker. Discards a card. Let's get rid of a Haunted Verge, I guess. Alright, Thoughtseize is great. Again. Well, let's take This Town Ain't Big Enough. Their deck is named after it. I don't want them to have it. So this is like the same deck, but Yorion. I think we Fable to give them something to Fatal Push so that it isn't my Mutavault next turn. Alright. That's fine. This time, we actually have like a decent setup to grind them out. Treacherous Blessing, draw 3 cards is terrifying, but I think we prepare for a long-ish game. And I think this turn specifically we duress them. And take... It's between this town ain't big enough and Kaito. I feel like I can attack Kaito often enough with like Mutavaults and Kiki-Jikis and whatever. Whereas I just kind of don't want them to cast Treacherous Blessing 50 times. Also, I found another duress, so that's pretty cool. Alright, another Momentum Breaker. I think Blood Crypt. Alright, Fatal Push is a good draw. So we duress them, take their Kaito. Fatal Push their Pixie. Mutavault attack them for 2. And then we gain 2 draw a card. Alright, we are definitely in a position to grind them out here. Even through Treacherous Blessings and whatnot. They have 2 of those in play. And currently, at the moment, no way to permanently get rid of them. Do I have anything fun in here to get back with Takenuma? Not especially. Let's just fire up Mutavault, attack them for 4, and then play another Fable. So any spell they cast drains them for 2. So even this Yorion is like kind of slow. They have a bunch of cards to find at this town, which also drains them for 2. Add Yorion to hand. And what else do you do, opponent? I can make I can shock in Blood Crypt, make a demon, copy a demon. And now I don't even need to shock in Blood Crypt to do it. Discard 2 bad cards. Shieldred is fun. Alright, the question is, do I go for it? Actually, a much safer line is to just Mutavault, fire up, attack them for 6. So if they don't have removal here, alright, it's nowhere to run. Let's make a mana. Make a copy of a Goblin Shaman, I guess, because why not? And now we just simply put you to 1 and put a Shieldred in play. So we don't have a demon this time, but it doesn't matter. If they cast a spell, they die to their Treacherous Blessing at this point. Like, they have objectively lost the game. If they cast a spell, they die to Treacherous Blessings, and we go home. Yep. Alright, we win game 1. That's huge. Hidetsugu Consumes All comes in. Although they have a lot of, like, 2 mana junk. That's probably just their draw. They're playing a Yorion version. Let's bring in the Invoke Despairs and the Angers. Let's bring out the Invoke Despairs and the Angers. Trying to make cuts. This is one of those matchups where there aren't really bad cards per se. There's just like worse cards. I think targeted removal is probably what I cut here. Not the Withering Torment can hit enchantments and stuff. Fatal Push struggles against like Yorion. I guess we can bring in one Invoke Despair just for fun. We managed to be up a game this time. Alright, this is a decent hand. Not as interactive as I would like, but it is somewhat interactive. I think we play a tap land. The odds of wanting to torch the tower something on 1 are pretty low. Yep, just a Hopeless Nightmare. And I think we even get rid of the torch. And Legion's Landing. Yep. This is definitely a more traditional this town start. We draw the Oni, which means Annex next turn gets to start. Unless they have Momentum Breaker, of course. What does this do? Alright, so if they get it up, there's just 2 mana sacrifice, it gains some life. That's fine. I'm going to play a Fable. Get a 2/2. It's a shame they had the Momentum Breaker for the Blade. I would have loved to just be draining them with Unholy Annex every turn. Alright, there's a this town. Kind of marginal. It will get 1 Annex out of me, unfortunately. Alright. Blood Tithe Harvester is probably the worst. Ooh, we get a Shieldred. I think this turn we duress. Intimidation Campaign seems super mid. Nowhere to Run also seems super mid, but could like remove a Shieldred if they can do it twice in a turn. I think we take that. Play our Unholy Annex. At the moment, they have no answer to the Shieldred, and it will bury them. They could very easily draw something, of course. Alright. I have this Blood Tithe Harvester, which I'm going to discard. I am down to 9. Feels a bit spooky. Now, the Annex won't be draining me anymore. So I'll be break even on this from the Shieldred. And next turn I could do Fear of Missing Out Reflection of Kiki Jiki nonsense, which I haven't successfully done in the past. Okay, nope, I can't. They're just going to kill the Reflection. Very sensible. They have a 3/4 flyer. It's a bit scary. I'm going to be drawing cards and gaining life and invoking Despair. So that gets rid of 1 creature and 1 enchantment and draws me a card. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like fine. So I'm not getting anything great here, but it is like something. It makes their Yorions a little bit worse. Alright, I think I attack here. Like the 1 or 2 points from Optimistic Scavenger probably isn't going to make or break. Liliana is pretty cool. Alright, now let's see what they can do. Just attack for 4. I go to 4. And they just have a tap land and put Yorion to hand. Alright, so we go Mutavault. Lily. Each player discards a card. I'll take your Yorion, thank you very much. Play a Fear of Missing Out, draw a card. Fire up the Mutavault. Attack you for 4. And gain a bunch. And there's a Hidetsugu. Which gets... It only gets like 3 things, but still a 3 for 1 is pretty great. Liliana robbing my opponent of their Yorion is probably going to be the thing that ends the game. If not, second Unholy Annex, of course. Alright, so they can scry, but it's their main phase, so they don't even get to draw that card quite yet. They can gain 4 life with the Momentum Breaker. Alright, kill the Shieldred is a strong play. Liliana notably not dead. And I think we just Hidetsugu consumes all, get rid of all that stuff, and then kill them. And you can untap to get into extra combat phase. Alright. The Yorion version of the This Town deck seems much worse. Alright, we are back up to Diamond 1. And it is 4:58. So I think we're going to call it there. So yeah, I'll be back here playing Magic on Thursday. Probably playing more Rakdos Midrange. I've been having a lot of fun with it lately. I'm just going to keep on doing that. So make sure to follow me for that. Otherwise, if you're interested in Satisfactory, I'll be doing that tomorrow. And gosh, what was I going to be doing in Satisfactory? Right, I was going to be setting up like the last couple of production lines for like the last couple of things in the game. So yeah, make sure to check that out if you're interested. I stream every day from, well, every weekday from 2 to 5. Yeah, make sure